Hey guys, welcome back. This video is about the engine swap and the new wheels for the BLIT. So stay tuned and check it out. This is episode 2 of the BLIT build. Okay, so yeah, like I said earlier, we're basically halfway through a 1J swap in this car. It's a 2001 or something Toyota Mark II BLIT, which is JZX 110, or in this case a GX 110. Came with this Pilot Junk motor, which is a 1G. Yeah, so that crusty thing came out. And also the small diff and small axles. So now we have a JZX diff with a Torsen LSD, JZX axles, and a 1JZ out of my old Verosa. So this car was also automatic before, so we got Altezza side brake, Altezza pedals, which we only use the clutch pedal, modified that sort of pad to use the Altezza brake pedal, moved them over a bit, and that is an Altezza gas pedal as well. Let's go show you the fuel system. So I'm showing you guys a fuel system just because it sort of relates to IS300s, and that's a pretty popular 1J swap and, you know, CD009 swap. So the fuel hanger on ISs and also in this car only has the one prong, which is an outlet, because it's a returnless system. Normally you have to put a bulkhead here for return line and stuff like that. But the better way to do it is to just get the fuel pump hanger and the whole assembly out of a car that has both. All of the turbo cars have feed and return, and they bolt right in. So this thing's out of my Aristo, bolts into a JZX 110 or an IS300. So yeah, any car that came with a 1J or a 2J turbo will have a hanger like this. And then you just have to buy this piece and this piece from Toyota. I think they're like $200 or $300, and that's kind of the easiest way to do it. This one also has the SAR jet pump killer and an Air Motive 340 pump in it. That's kind of what we're using. I think we're only going for about 300 or 400 horsepower in this car, ultimately. It should be more than enough. All right, so what we're using today for the swap is the SERIALNINE CD Pro kit, which comes with the CD009 shifter. This is the X-Member Pro, so this one is a billet cross member made for IS300, which the Mark II BLIT is basically the same car. And we're using an OS Street Twin. This is a new clutch we have not used yet. I think it's good about 600 or 700 horsepower, but it is sprung and it's a twin plate, larger style diameter. So we're using a 2006 CD009 transmission, just an average kind of generic retro tranny. Let's get started. Get your bell housing. Take all those bolts out, and then we're going to cut these riv nuts off, and then we'll hammer it out. All right, so you can see we got the hole cut now, and we got the transmission up as high as possible. Ready to rock?
Oh yeah.
Alright, do this.
Overall, how does the swap feel? Do you think it has good drivability?
Yeah, I think it's pretty good. I mean, when it's good, it's good. I just wish it was a bit more consistent. There's a few factors that could be at play as to why it doesn't like run as good as it could.
Yeah. You say the clutch feels pretty good as well?
Oh, the OS clutch? Yeah, man, it's pretty sick. Like, we were kind of struggling to find something that was good for a high horsepower street car. because we have a lot of customers that sort of, you know, want like a, you know, 500 horse street car, or they want to drive it to the track, and like, you know, and you can do that with the Tilton, but it's just not very easy, and they don't last that long. They're great clutches for racing or for drifting, but like, yeah, like they're not the easiest thing to drive. And like, if you can have a better clutch, that's kind of what we were always looking for, something that was an in-between from the single plate, you know, 400 pound-feet, and then the triple plate that was like 700 pound-feet capability, right? But yeah, these are super smooth. I mean, I can drive this thing all day long. It's not that heavy. Engagement is pretty smooth, and you know, you can shift like 100,000 times a drive and it's no problem.
So you'd say, how would you say it compares to the R154 if it were in the same
CD
car?
tranny?
Yeah.
It's a lot smoother. It's a lot easier to shift. The gearing sort of like range, if you will, is a lot more broad. So like the gears are closer together. So, you know, first through third is kind of a lot tighter. R154, it's a big gap from 2 to 3. So on the street, it's not the biggest deal. You know, you put a 4.1 or a 4.3 in it, and it kind of helps. But in drifting, it's still a fairly large gap from 2 to 3. And also the R154 was designed in like 1987 or something. So the way it shifts is a lot more archaic. And obviously with the CD009 shifter, we've sort of tried to make it as smooth and as precise as possible. Yeah, so it's a joy to shift. I love it.
That reminds me, what final drive are you running in this vehicle?
This is the stock JZX. I think on the 110s, all of the automatics are the same, so it's 3.7, which is also the same as a manual IS300. Okay. I did find that the 3.9 was a bit too short with the CD box, so that's kind of one thing to keep in mind. Optimally it'd be a 3.5, but the 3.7 is a good compromise.
Any problems swapping from automatic to manual?
I mean, I can't speak for JZX 90 or 100. Mine's a 110, which would probably be similar to an IS300 as far as difficulty and like problems. There's a few small things like AC doesn't seem to work. We run an AT emulator to sort of simulate the automatic transmission, because it seems as though the engine doesn't quite have as much power and torque and response once you do the manual swap, until you run the emulator. This particular swap, like I said, there's a few issues. Sometimes it makes 10 pounds of boost, sometimes it makes 5 or 7. I have a feeling that might be related to the e-throttle, because this is the latest model 1JZ VVTi, and it's the ECTS-I that has basically the full control. And yeah, so I feel like half the time when I shift, there's like this huge delay. In addition, like sometimes I feel like it dials it back. So like, if I get on the boost here, that's 7 pounds. 10. I think we're running on a road here, but but yeah, like it definitely kind of seems like a bit inconsistent. And then we have the throttle lockout plate from Premium Japan that we're going to put in next, and hopefully that'll be 1-to-1 from the gas pedal to the throttle plate, and that'll eliminate any sort of like weird throttle closing things that we thought it might be doing, right? Mm-hmm. So that in conjunction with the AT emulator should at least eliminate those aspects, but there could be other things happening too, who knows, right?
Yeah. So what's next for the car?
What's next is make it look cool. So we have some cool work wheels for it. We're gonna do the fenders, and in order to fit the wheels, we got to do some arms. So we got a new prototype billet front upper that we're gonna run on this car. Hopefully a prototype billet rear upper. We're moving all our arms to aluminum, so those are gonna be pretty exciting to kind of put on. We're trying to improve on the Toyota suspension design. These cars are a bit older. All the suspension components are steel. You know, and for example, in contrast, all the Nissans from the FM chassis, everything's aluminum. So all the knuckles, the arms, everything's super light, and that's what makes the cars drive so well and perform so well. So we're trying to kind of do that, but with the JZs, the JZ powered cars. And I mean, yeah, like we're on a hill right now, super easy to drive. I have installed this car once. Yeah, and then, so yeah, basically make it super low, a little bit of camber. We got some Stan's SERIALNINE spec coilovers to go in it. They're a bit stiffer and a bit, yeah, set up, they're valved a bit differently, kind of to our specs. So we sort of have that, the wheels, the arms.
What wheels are going on it again?
Genosis GR204. So it's like a mesh, kind of like a new school mesh design. It's a 2-piece welded. It kind of looks like a 3-piece, but it's not 2-piece welded. But yeah, the kind of goal for the car as far as looks wise is like a really nice clean street car. So the wheels are just silver, like a matte silver face with like a, not a brush lip, but it's like, they call it the machined lip. It's the standard lip on the Genosis series. It's pretty shiny, but not like polished. We have a lot of problems with cops and stuff in our area.
It's crime fighting time.
So we're kind of trying to, I mean, I'm kind of trying to build a car that for the most part, nobody's gonna look at it. But if you were to look at it, you'd be like, yo, that thing's sick. You know what I mean?
All right, guys, hope you liked that video. Stay tuned for the next one where we're gonna take the car to the dyno, get a baseline, and then maybe try to sort out some of those drivability issues. And also we're gonna get our wheels mounted and stuff, and then bring them to get ceramic coated. So yeah, stay tuned. Peace out.